Welcome everybody. Map number 2, Vex taking it on Dust 2, moving on to the Foundations map choice, which I've heard good things about. Them on Cash. I'm Laser Jesus, joined by Awesome Sauce. Hope you guys enjoyed the Skinsanity plug. It's that website, oh so pretty. Can't take my eyes off of it, but based upon what we've heard about the Foundation here, I mean, I still can't give them the edge here versus Vex.
And it's hard to. I mean, you know, it's hard to do that, and it's hard to want to do that at this point. You know, Vex coming off pretty good. You know, 16-8, really stayed pretty dominant throughout most of that game. There really wasn't a point where I felt like Foundation had a chance, except when it was 7-10, and they had a little bit of a light buy going up against what Vex had. But they're going to try to flood out of mid here. That's Foundation. They're going to move their way up towards Highway and try to stay split right now. But the CT's playing retake.
And against this setup, it does come down to retake generally, but the Foundation, I don't know if I like this. They're still fighting towards the truck of the player at E-Box, contending for quite some time, and now he's stuck out by the players flanking up Highway. So the Foundation not giving themselves all that great of a chance to hold this retake incoming from Vex, as they haven't lost anybody, and still a lot of utility.
Now, they do have the chance to retake this. They've got the advantage of the man's advantage, that's for sure, but they've got to get in here and make this work quickly. Well, here, 1-2.
What?
Oh, my goodness, they just slaughtered the defense, and they've got to stop this now. It's down to a 1v1 Maul against Invert. What they've been able to do at this point is amazing. Can they do it? He's sticking it. Is he going to do it? No, he's not. Maul gets it done, and a 2v5, 4K at the end. I am What happened?
Oh my god, that round was insane. There's just so many switches of who should be winning the round. Vex, they look good. 5-on-3 retaking into the bomb site. They get a smoke on the bomb. They get a guy defusing it with the kit. And then all of a sudden, a flurry of frags come up from the Foundation. I think it was 4, and then Invert. He's left all alone. Makes it close, and then he hops on the bomb. Gets it down to just 2 seconds left. I thought the player spamming him with the Glock might not get that kill. So, very intense round. Tons of sways back and forth, but the Foundation able to eke it out despite a very bad start, and I think poorly played based upon what they were trying to accomplish in just playing the anti-retake situation.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And it's interesting to see that it did happen, you know, but it worked. Foundation up 1-0. They get the initial pick. They get to fall back and chill and see what they want to do here. And the A-split worked last time. CTs weren't playing in the site. Now they get to make the decision on what they're going to try to do. So as they do have the man advantage. 2 CTs on A right now. Drossel, be a solo player right now. An Invert falling off of mid. So now the T is going to start converging up towards mid. Ruin trying to spot for sound. Hear anything if they can. They don't have any armor. Invest into this round, so they're going to try to sip the crossfire. Ruin and Handled are going to go ahead and get one. That's good, but they got to cover their backs here. Porky jumping in with an MP7 with Haptic to back him up. And it's all down to Drossel in a 1v4. PG50 could definitely do some damage with this, but he might get drove by these MAC 10s.
Have to give Handled an earful. Like, this sort of eco round where you play just standard, like 2-1-2 with default pistols, I mean, even with P250s, I don't like it all that much. Maybe with 5.7s and Deegs where you can actually contend with like AKs and such in a one-on-one situation, but by playing the default pistols, you're forcing yourself to win a fight where you're heavily at the disadvantage just based upon the weaponry out. So I'm going to have to talk to Handle that if I'm going to catch your games, man, at least make the eco rounds entertaining, because that was not enjoyable to watch from the Vex side. It's just an ugly eco.
Yeah, pretty much. It pretty much was. And so now we've got a situation for Foundation, you know, and this is definitely a CT-sided map. Laser, you know, I would say 10-5, you know, maybe 9-6. But definitely it leans that way. Vex obviously coming off that last map, feeling pretty confident, but losing that round, the first pistol round like they did, might put them, maybe have them a little bit upset. We'll see what they're going to do here. They're going to put a couple people inside Squeaky and try to go fight with these default pistols. Again, a few P250s bought up, but nothing too insane. It works out. DJ gets a frag onto Caboose and Squeaky that shuts down that kind of attack, and that puts his TCs in a little bit better situation.
That's what I like to see on the eco. I mean, you got to do something like that. Try to overwhelm one of the players. You're trying to find a target that's isolated, that he has no tradability with his team, any of his teammates. So if you go with an aggressive play on the eco and you find that solo player, well, then the advantage of the AK is negated a whole bunch because you have numbers on it. And you can get the trade off, and they don't even trade anybody. So nice little situation here for Vex. Problem being, the Foundation can just still hard execute and probably just bully their way into either bomb site. But maybe a miracle, who knows?
Now good frag on the entry to come in there and try to make this work, but Ruin comes back with a frag of his own, a 3v3 situation, but Foundation with the bomb plant and the gun advantage and armor advantage, it should be pretty standard after plant situation for them, as we'll see Handled trying to do some damage here with this P250. He's going to fall back to Z with a little bit of a scuffle there at mid, but gets the kill on a Deemster. And he's going to go down, so 3-0 start for Foundation. Couldn't really be much better than that at this point.
Definitely not. It's the best possible of starts, and they didn't lose too many rifles. I think they lost 2 MAC-10s and an AK. Not heavy losses, and Vex seem like the team where they want the op-out on Handled, and they want to go for the full buy instead of force buy. And there's been some situations where they could have gone for it, and they didn't. I think that's what kind of CT side team Vex is. They prefer to play with the full utility and weapons. As the Foundation, this is a strong play to start off the gun rounds. They just come up over mid. Vex, they're losing it despite having 3 players here. Great trades coming out from the Foundation. You know what? Vex are just going to secede mid, and the Foundation quickly turning this into an A-Wrap. But then the aggression from Vex, they switch it up and push into A main as a countermeasure. But then Foundation, they instantly switch it up and hit towards the B side. I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Foundation. You know what? Even both teams here.
Yeah, good job there by Drossel. 1-2. Doesn't get the third, but he does a lot. And actually potentially could save his team this round and get them on a better footing that they are at this point. But right now, Haptic alone here in the site. He has to be careful he doesn't make the wrong move. He knows that these players are going to be trying to get over there to make it work. Haptic, he may get caught out here. He does have time, and he is going to get caught out by Handled. So Handled ending it that way with it up, and that's going to give Vex the round. And Foundation's got enough to buy here, so it's not going to be a reset. But yeah, good round by Vex, and it was an interesting round by Foundation to flush out of mid, like you pointed out earlier. They just jumped over. They didn't even care. Like, they just did, and they, it played a 1-3-1 setup with Vex. They had it. It looked like it was going to work, and they got wrecked. I fell back and ended up making it work. So good job by them to recover, especially when they got several people killed there. There were 2 of them at mid, so good job by them.
I wish I had more time to talk about that round, but it looks like the Foundation, they're just quickly moving on to this B bomb site. DJ going to cut the numbers down from the vents at least, as he'll find D trying to make it into the vents and maybe even cutting off the next player. And Haptic will fall as well, so now only one place to attack from the Foundation, and they are unable to trade off on Drossel, who's been a monster towards the B side. Caboose, last man up, but he's got no health, 12 HP. Rotation on the way from Vex. There's no way he gets the bomb down here. Playing a little whack-a-mole with the player at headshot, though. That's invert. Nicely done by Vex. But I want to go back to that round because it was so interesting. Like, a lot of teams on the T side will take mid quickly and then kind of, even if they have a player towards A, not really know how quickly they should make a move on to A. But they get the trades off at mid. Then Vex, realizing that there's probably an A split on the way. You know what? Let's push into A main and at least secure that real estate. They kill that player. Then the Foundation, they realize, okay, there's 2 players at the A site. There's 3 players alive. That means a 3v1 in B. So both teams just making excellent tactical decisions that round. But it ended up going to Vex, and then the round thereafter is the Foundation will once again try this B bomb site. But Drossel's been looking so strong here.
Yeah, thanks for that in-depth analysis. Yeah, definitely there was a lot at play there that we really didn't have the time to go into. But now, Vex here, 2-3 now. The scoreline, invert a nade kill. That's nice. That's going to help them out a little bit here, but the T's just are going to bulge in here, see what they can do here. Drossel getting 1. Tech9 coming in from Deemster. Couldn't get the frag initially, so he's running around in tree. He doesn't care if there's no smokes or not walls. He gets 1. He's going for another one. Not going to happen. Haptic comes and gets 1. Now it's down to Haptic and a 1v3. He's going to go down, so 3-3 scoreline. Foundation's money is looking okay, not the greatest. They're going to have to make the decision on if they're going to buy or not. If they would have been able to get the bomb down, it surely would have made them secured for the buy. But yeah, Vex coming back into this 3-3, and I think maybe they're a little bit over that pistol round, and they've kind of settled into a rhythm that appears to be working. Drossel's doing a good job at B. He's 7-2-6 now, and he may be dying a lot.
Drossel's been everything.
Yeah, he may be dying a lot, but he's doing more than his job, and that's all you need from somebody at B site.
And that's what spurred this lead now, or what's about to be a lead for Vex, because it was a 3-on-1 with Drossel being the single player at that B bomb site on the round where Vex, they win it and then begin this spree. And he got 2, I think, on that entry, maybe even wounded the last player. So he's been so critical. And now it's DJ, the man this round. Just dropping everybody as they try to come up towards the highway. The Foundation, what I've seen after the first gun run on this T side has been a very in-your-face, quick-paced play on the T side. So do they have any intentions of even playing that slow default game and trying to throw some sick fakes? Because I haven't seen that yet from the Foundation. They've gotten mid control, which is great, but that might just make them keep attempting that. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Really all there is to say about that. Mal 8-4 for the T's here. Foundation. Drossel 8-6 now for Vex. So we do have some fraggers here on both these teams, and they're both pretty even on the scoreboard. We'll have to see what Foundation's going to do to try to get back into this. I mean, they've lost 4 in a row. They're going to be on max loss bonus if they lose this round. And so
they do slow it down here.
Yeah, and I think that's smart, right? I mean, the aggression was working early. You started getting shut down on these really fast pushes out. You know, especially even mid, when they went up against that three people at mid for the Vex. But here they come. They're paying patient here. And I think Cash is a map predicated by mid control. And so they're trying to sniff out what the CTs are doing, but the CTs are changing it up every round. They're not doing the same thing. And it's really hard when you're a T on this map to try to know that if you're playing fast. And so I think by playing this slow, they're trying to get something going and at least get some information.
Yeah, if you can identify that the CTs are playing softly on mid, well, then you know that the other bomb sites are more heavily supplemented. But if you know they're playing mid, well, then the sites are weaker if they have like 2 or 3 players at mid. So, yeah, a lot of it, is jockeying around that mid position, seeing what the CT will give you or not give you at mid. And again, mid control, establish. I guess I can't say that yet for the Foundation. They've been allowed out mid, but still, Vex have a player at Sandbags as well as Z. So at any moment, things could pop off here at mid. But the Foundation are making their move into this B site. Once again, it'll be Drossel here, who's been playing huge Counter-Strike. So he'll have to step it up just one more time. But wow, I've missed a player. Caboose is inside of the A bomb site. I think that's why the Foundation are waiting over towards the B. But Caboose, he's running out of time to make a move. And now he'll begin his flank. Can he connect onto the second one? He will. But it's Drossel once more. Can they put this man away? They will. And now it's a 1-on-2 for DJ, who's quick on the flank.
You're also doing so much work. Here comes in here. That's DJ's down to 9 HP. It's going to be hard for him to do this. He is going to go down. So 4-4 scoreline here. Drossel getting 1, but it wasn't enough, because he had a lot of people in sight. So they're not going to have to save, though. They've got plenty of economy here. If they win this, they could have Foundation in a bad spot, and they would have to save if they do so. Depending on, obviously, if they get the bomb plant. Obviously, the T's getting some money if they plant the bomb. But, as a CT, economy's a lot harder to get going, especially because you don't get that extra money from the bomb plants. But nonetheless, a 2-1-2 setup coming in from Vex here, Laser, and again, completely different. They're going to get one in Squeaky. Dude.
Wow, they get both of them, DJ and Invert. And now the trade comes in from Haptic. Looks like Invert's teammate had fallen off, and he'll push into the A main. So just staggering aggression by Vex. And I love that play, because the Foundation, what are the chances that they're going to go quickly on a round where they just won by opening up with a slowed style default? So Vex, by going for the aggression, you're probably going to find a single player somewhere, just holding for the pushes. Actually, 2 players at that time towards Squeaky, but it's still DJ. He's alive in the A main. Key frag onto Porky. As now the trade will come through eventually. Wow, DJ, he gets caught with his knife out. Who's that? Oh, okay, it's Mal. He will get the kill, but after quite some time. And I'm not sure DJ saw the bomb arriving. It looked like he did, because both Vex members are on their way to A.
Oh, Haptic, a nice shot by him. Handled, trying to do a flick there.
He needed it.
Didn't get it. So he's going to have to be careful about this. He knows one's going to probably be playing up close, and he is going to go ahead and kind of expect that. No, now he's in trouble, because the smoke comes close and the nade falls that fire, and he's going to have to fall back here knowing he's going to have a very small chance to be able to do this with an op, and economically, they're going to be in an okay position, but it's not going to be great. If he saves this, they're going to be in a better spot. They're going to get 1,900. But yeah, not necessarily ideal for them to lose this round like they did.
This is going to be a painful next round for Vex. Let's look at it. Maybe, well, they should get 4 rifles out, so not all that bad. Definitely some players left wanting some utility, which is so critical here on cash. And for the Foundation, they have to rebuy 3 weapons. They'll still be okay. So this round much more important for Vex than it is the Foundation. And what do they open up with? Vex, that was an excellent start to the round. They double push into Squeaky, get both kills. Eventually one gets traded off, and then the other player pushed into A main, got the kill as well. So the Foundation should have lost that round based on the way it started. Vex will go with the 2-1-2 this time. The Foundation have kind of fallen off of their quick mid play, so Vex going with the 2-1-2. This time no aggression towards the A side, but we do have a boost towards Sunshine from inside of that B-bomb site. It's going to be a while till we see an execution from the Foundation, but there's the kill from Vex. They boosted up over Sunshine, and that's an angle that if you're not ready for, well, you're just dead.
That off angle is hard to expect, you know, because it takes... Can't do it alone. You have to have 2 people. It's got to be coordinated, and you have to catch the other player off the wrong time. Or at the right time, excuse me, and that's what happened. So Drossel, again, going beast mode. You know, he's really always been a good player, but right now he's having a good performance on this map. As well as DJ with 11 frags, Drossel behind him, but only by 1 at 10. And to me, right now, looking at Foundation, 5 rounds on T side is good. If they can get 6 or 7, it's going to be really good for them. And maybe even some icing on the cake. But look at Handled also on the scoreboard. Laser, he's only got 2 right now. And not what we saw from him in the last map. And he is going to go down to Haptic, so it's a 4v4. Here comes the A split. They're going to run in there.
Oh, and the entry onto DJ. He gets caught looking at a flashbang, but Bruin finds a flank out of A main somehow. Looks like he was lurking inside of the smoke. And a 2-on-3, I think Vex needs to go for this. They're looking at only 1 save, even if they lose this one. I definitely think it's worth it to attempt this retake, so they're going to go. We got 1 player at Forklift, 1 under Shroud, 1 at Quad. So a decent setup here. The Molly isn't good towards the Quad, 1 for 1, which leaves Drossel all alone. And yeah, at that point with no HP, I guess you just got to save. So a save round following now for Vex, despite saving this weapon and stripping out a lot of the Foundation's economy. But Foundation really need to survive with a lot of their players in this round following to avoid getting reset potentially by Vex, because if they can, well, they're still looking at potentially double digits.
Yeah, on T side, you know, right now having 6 is already pretty darn good, but if they get 7, 8, 9, you know, even if they only got 9, Laser, it's still a solid T half. I know they want to go for 11. Obviously, that's the most they could do, but yeah.
I think that would probably be a W too, because I don't think Vex will be held below 8 on their T side. So I think Foundation do need a victory this half.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So, Vex, where do they bring this single rifle? He'll be towards the A side. Are they trying a Shroud boost? This is kind of getting awkward at the A bomb site. Okay, they are going to try it again. Fortunately for them, nobody from Root is entering into this A-bomb site. All right, guys, just stop. This is not looking good. And why don't they just go for the default boost now? Because they Handled's pushed up in A main. If you want the Shroud boost that bad, you could have got it. Maybe they're just stubborn. Who knows? 1 frag for Foundation. And it doesn't look like they are intending on just hard committing into B. If they do, maybe some problems. It looked like Vex was going to work their way over there for a stack. But it's another one of those situations for Vex where you're down in terms of numbers and weaponry, and they're playing so split. I like a more grouped up effort in these sort of situations, and they will do it towards B or not. Yeah, this is not looking good for Vex.
No, it's not. Foundation looks like they've taken control of this half. It appears so, and Vex is getting slaughtered everywhere. They're trying to do something, but one thing I noticed about this round, they will end up losing it, but one thing I noticed about this round was Drossel was not on that B site. You know, that boost stuff at Age didn't work out. Invert gets picked at B. You know, the T's playing it slow, and this is going to put Foundation up 7-4. And they're in a bad spot. I mean, Vex winning 4 in a row, but they haven't really contended much else anywhere else except the pistol round. But they lost that because of that freak stuff that occurred. So I don't know. It's not looking good for them. It just seems like they're a little bit off their vibe with Handled with only 2 frags. You know, it's not what we saw from him in the last map for sure. But everybody has rough games here and there, you know, and maybe even rough halves. So maybe he can get back into it.
It was the T side that he performed very well with all the entries, though, so maybe we'll find that here on Cash. I definitely think it panders more to his style on Dust 2. But one of the problems I was concerned about for Vex is Foundation. They survived with everybody. Vex needed some kills or something like that, because I assume if Vex is going to win one of these rounds, it's probably not going to be clean. And if Vex get reset at any point for the rest of this half, or namely the next couple rounds, well, the Foundation should have not an easy time, but a much more favorable one. Moving into the second half. Handled with the op again. They've shifted him towards the B side. Drossel aggressing as well. So shifting the setup a little bit is Vex. And they're getting aggressive into A main. Is the aggression... Yeah, it worked towards Squeaky, but now it seems to be a fault for Vex as they go down a man early. That was a single aggression, and now another guy gets picked off at A. And the Foundation, I guess the hype is real about them on Cash.
Yeah, it appears to be the case. I mean, Drossel just goes down, doesn't even look, and Vex is running. You know, 8-4 scoreline, and yeah, like you said, they seem to have good cash, and they do at this point. I mean, Vex has not been able to do much to handle it. And even though Porky only has 3 frags, it doesn't matter because they're getting the initial pick almost every single round, and they're able to just chill and work off of that. Vex has to make an aggressive play. Sometimes it feels like they're trying to rush these things. They're getting really aggressive and trying to force things that just aren't meant to be at this point. Though Porky getting another one, so that's going to put him at 4 frags. Handled needs to save this op probably for himself, but Barrel getting spotted, and we're going to go ahead and accept the fact he's going to save it. But not a lot of money there for Vex, and they're going to actually force around this. I wouldn't say it's a complete force buy, but they don't have a lot, so some FAMASas are going to have to come out.
Yeah, not a lot of money, not a lot of options for Vex here. They have just enough to buy. Might as well go for it if you're down this much. And Vex, it's hard to critique them by going for the aggression because we can harken back to that Squeaky round where they had so much success in the Foundation. The adaptation that they've made after Vex is winning those 4 rounds in a row, they stopped going quickly on some of their setups. Now they've gone back to it, and they go 1 for 1 at mid. But on the other side, we can kind of critique Vex for the aggression, but you got to give credit to the Foundation for making that adjustment by stopping going quickly and then going back to that slow default style, and now going back to the quick stuff. But it's working against them again, as now Handled will grab a frag from that A bomb site. And the Foundation have mid control, but it's one of those spots where if you don't have anybody else elsewhere on the map, it's kind of hard to turn mid control into a take.
Yeah, you need somebody at least, you know, B or A, or that's what they're going to do. They're going to drop down, but Drossel,
there he is again
on B side again, and totally changing the way that they're going to be able to play this. He peeks out and gets another one, so a triple there by himself. Survives with 5 HP, and can you give this guy any more credit?
I probably can. But he's,
I mean, I meant that as kind of a redundant question. Of course we can. My voice tone definitely didn't make it very clear. But yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, he single-handedly has won them several rounds here. I mean, at least 3 or 4 of these rounds have been won because he's been playing so well to B-side.
Yeah. My count is 3 Drossel, 1 for Foundation whenever they... Oh, okay, 1 back for Foundation, but Invert is there for the trade, and then somewhere's the trade? It's all Invert! The last one was a no-scope, and the rest of Foundation are going to get cut off. Maybe the 4K for Invert, but Hot Pursuit, Ruin, and Haptics back. Okay, the Foundation dealt with Drossel, but then Invert goes huge.
Yeah, it's like, they're like, hey, we don't want you to talk about Drossel anymore. Let's talk about me. Invert's like, hey, hold on. I'm going to get 3 here, and you're going to like it. So he does do it. Nice job from him, and this puts Vex in a situation to get 7 rounds in the half when they were down 4-8. I mean, this is definitely doable for them. I mean, it's still going to be a really good half for Foundation either way, but like you said, they probably won't get more than 8 rounds on T-side, at least kind of what you're expecting. We'll have to see what happens. Deemster comes out of mid, trying to get out in the open. Caboose, the first frag. for the T's. And the T's are going to actually have mid-control because of it. Force the CTs back in their sights. And try to work something. It looks like an A split might be happening here with Mal holding the back line at Dumpster. Actually, now he's going to come back towards A. And they're going to actually take this very slow, trying to see if anybody's going to make a mistake. The CTs don't have a lot of info. If Invert pushed up into B main, the downside is that in a 4v5, you could justify that, but then he could make a mistake. Ruin getting a frag there in A main. Now they know what's going on. They know what's an A hit. Ruin, another frag there. Going for another one, not going to work. And it's Drossel and Invert here. The situation to possibly make this work. No, it's not going to happen. Foundation with Teamster coming through Z. 9-6 the scoreline. That looked really good for Vex, but they just weren't able to hold on there at the end. And a good round and a good half for Foundation. I'm really impressed to see that.
Yeah, and they lost pistol round, so that could have been a monstrous half for the Foundation. But 6 for Vex, that's enough. I said that they wouldn't get held below 8, and I still think that'll be true, but they're going to need 10 to win it if they want to avoid moving on to Cobble, where I have no idea how Cobble will go, because I haven't seen Foundation on it. I mean, Vex, okay there, but man, not strong enough for me to firmly state that they will win the map with surety. The Foundation, I mean, they take pistol here, potentially move up to 12 based upon Vex. They don't seem to like to force buy, so I assume then the save will come out. But this is so vital for Vex to grab this pistol. And, you know, there's no other way to say it. I've been casting for I don't even know how long now. I can't even put a number on it. And I've ran out of ways to say how important pistol is.
When you've ran out of stuff, you've ran out of stuff. Yeah, Foundation did, you know, they did do a good job, though. In that half, you got to give them the credit. And now Vex here has T's, all 5.
They like their aggressive pistols on the CT side.
Yeah, no, they do, and they're going to get some info because of it. Now, they don't have anybody pushed up into B. Sometimes the strat is you push 2 into B. You try to make that work, but they're playing actually a retake on A here. And they're going to go ahead and do that. Deemster trading the armor for the incendiary. He is going to throw it. Maybe cause a little bit of a delay here. Porky comes in, Invert refrags him. And they're going to come in here and try to make this thing work here as a good frag comes in from Ruin. Dots exchange on the side. Mal going down from Handle. This is anybody's map here. Can he do it?
Jukes.
No, he cannot. He gets knifed in the back from Handled. Going down. Porky actually getting that knife. So good job. And look at this. Porky and Caboose giving each other a little bit of body language fling, and Porky's around with a 4K. Good job by him, and look at this haptic, 167 total damage with grenades. That's so important, too. I mean, it really makes it easier with these pistols, and they get it done.
Oh, it seems I looked at it wrong. The Foundation, they did win the first half pistol, and how could I forget it with that crazy smoke situation and epic comeback in both of these pistol rounds. Just crazy action at that A bomb site once the retake begins. That's very unfortunate for Vex, and they don't go for the force, of course, because the bomb went down. So we'll see it in the next round following, and it'll be another one of the situations where the Foundation, they're going to be faced with the decision: do they keep these bad guns? Because last time they lost that situation. So I'd like to see that happen again. See if Foundation make a different decision, but of course that relies on Vex getting some kills. And so far, no success. Yeah, they're just running through a smoke. Porky having all the fun. He will eventually get traded off by Handled, but there's no way a plant goes down. What? Okay, Handled. Just swinging that wrist. And now the Foundation. Let's see if what decision they make.
Yeah, I mean, up 11-6 at this point. You've won both pistols. You're in a good spot. You just have to make sure to not throw it away. You know, here comes the first full gun round. I mean, both these teams Vex. If they lose this round, you know, they're gonna be in a situation where they have to save. Unless they get the bomb plant, they might be able to do something. You know, they'd get 3,200 instead of 2,400. But yeah, they're in a spot where they need to make a play and they need to force something quickly here. Deemster's going to go ahead and jump straight into A main and try to get a little bit of info, boost up, and oh, a good nade there. That's going to hurt Handled a lot, considering the fact that he doesn't have armory when glass cannon here. And he's going to be boosted up, and yeah, so Vex, they need to make a play here, and they need to even this thing up, and they need to get the momentum.
Yeah, they need a lot here. Porky, his attention is split from middle as well as the players working up checkers because of the pressure applied by Vex at mid. But he'll get the flank. Ooh, takes him a while. No trade available as Porky just gets out of there. There's still 2 players at this B bomb site, inside of the B bomb site. Might be difficult to trade off. Oh, DJ needs this frag, and he will collect. As Porky arrives back out of the checkers, it's good timing to flank, but it's Haptic. He's now in the bomb site. He'll grab 2. Porky, there's the flank, and he'll complete the 3K. Nice little full household by the Foundation. And unfortunate for Vex is now their split has failed. The glass cannon gets naded right away. You're down this many rounds. And Handle, I mean, he might even have to go with the glass cannon again the next round, or have no utility. One or the other.
Vex, yeah, they need to get back into this now. They're in desperation mode. Not completely out of it yet, though, but they got their backs against the wall. If they lose this next gun round, it might be all she wrote. Mal, 1 frag there, CZ up close. Drossel rips his head off on his sight. But Haptic doing so much damage there, getting 1 and 2. Rotation comes in as well. DJ with this glass cannon, trying to do something and run away. And he knows that these CTs are going to be running after him from all angles, so he's just playing the mouse here. He is going to get 1. Can he get more than that? He really wants it. It's not going to happen. Haptic's going to finish it off with a 3K. A good job by him. After the other player inside the site goes down, Haptic, good job, though. So 16... Or, excuse me, I saw the 1 and the 6, and I said 16. 13-6. But this could very well be 16 soon if Foundation continues the way that they're playing right now. But this gun round is going to mean a lot, too.
All right, it might be 16-6. You could have some foresight. I'm wondering if Handled will be dissuaded from going for this boost, being that he just ate a nade to the face last time. There is fire up there, so not going to go for it right away. And now the Foundation tastes of Vex's own medicine. They'll push into Squeaky and get Ruin. And I love that double Squeaky push, because oftentimes you'll only find 1 guy there, and that's a ton of pressure on him to even get 1 kill out of the potential 2 targets.
Yeah, that's true. Very true point there in Squeaky, and it did work out for him. And so Foundation, they feel like they're ready to win this map and take it to Kabul. I mean, to me, what I'm feeling here is that they're just ready to go, and they want to continue this up.
It just seems like their map.
Yeah, it does, and Vex really wasn't able to get a footing except those 4 rounds, and then they did get 2 towards the end, but they're not winning both pistols here does put you in a bad spot, especially in the method that they lost him. Drossel's all over the 1v3. He's going to have a hard task ahead of him. He's going to make it a little bit easier, though, but he's going to go down. So 14-6, and we're going to be on map point. Invert's going to call a pause here, as he probably should, and at this point, you have to make the decision on what you're going to do. You've got max loss bonus, so that's a positive thing for you. But the question is, do you maybe armor 5-7, and see if you can maybe win a round and then maybe potentially play for a tie, or are you just going to fully buy in now?
I don't think they've gone for a fast A or just like a hard, dedicated A site play where you just bombard the site with smokes, create that wall. And there was that eco round where they tried it, but then they just got wrecked from the quad area. But if they go fast towards B, and the problem is that with the limited money that they have, it's more likely that they will go for a fast play because they don't have all that much to set up with and play that nade game. The Foundation have proven that they could stuff a B bomb site rush, at least against pistols. Maybe not towards the A bomb site. I guess it's the same thing. So I'm not sure what Vex's best option is here, because the Foundation, they've looked pretty strong. I mean, the adjustments they made on the T side were quite impressive, and now on the CT side, showing Vex different looks. But again, maybe this is just their map, and even if the Foundation do take this like 60-6, I still think Vex is going to win on Kabul. But that's only because I've seen much more Vex than I have the Foundation. Maybe they're sick on Kabul as well.
Yeah, no, and now we're just hanging out here, throwing guns in the air as Foundation's feeling confident. And on Kabul, I don't want to jump the gun here, but I'm feeling like Foundation is going to be able to make this work. I don't see them losing this. They're up so big here at this point, and I don't see them making this mistake. But we are going to continue, and
Need a series of mistakes.
Yep.
A long chain of them.
Yeah, and I just don't see it happening. I'm not saying... I mean, do I think on paper that Vex is a better team than Foundation? On paper, in a lot of facets, yes,
Yeah.
Especially from the track record and some of the players that are on this team. But that being said, they're being outclassed on cash, and maybe this is Foundation's map, and like you said, you knew about this, and it didn't end up working out, but we'll see if they do try that A stuff like you said. They are smoked off initially, so they do have to slow it down, recollect their thoughts. They did have time to talk in that timeout, but it looks like Invert's going to throw this one smoke. Here they go. They're going in.
And the quad player again. This time it is Mal. He has an op, but it's handled with the entry. And then a trade by Ruin. But Mal still from the quad area. Can Vex bring this man down? They will, with the retake already on the heels. With the Foundation, they will buckle to this A-bomb site play. But Haptic on the retake. He does have the AWP. How does he avoid the trade situation? Might be a little easier since Drossel has the op, switches to the AK. DJ inside of the Squeaky. With Haptic still making his move. Oh, he flushes Drossel out of the quad, but then he doesn't expect DJ at the back by Squeaky. Risky by Vex to play a 1-1, but it ends up working out. And that's one of the options I thought Vex hadn't necessarily exhausted, was just a hard dedication onto that A-bomb site. But the Foundation have proven themselves capable of adjustments and shifting of their CT side defense. So it's just got to go Foundation. They have too many rounds to lose to figure this out for Vex. And now that Vex have gone for the hard A play, well, you're probably going to see Foundation fortify that site a little more.
Yeah, and actually by fortifying it, instead of sending 3 over there, they send 2, and they're going to have 2 of their players close up mid to try to prevent anybody from doing some sort of a split or get mid control. And the boost comes in actually, and Deemster goes down to DJ.
There's a firing squad there.
Yeah, that's not the best way to start off this round here. They're going to fight a little bit with Invert at mid, and Smoke goes down as well. So they're down in a 4v5 here. This is going to give Vex a little bit of confidence here. As, yeah, that last round, DJ hiding in Squeaky wasn't really expected. Not really a position he would I mean, he kind of expected it, maybe, but he did pick wrong. And now we're in this spot here. Foundation wanting to get on map point and go to Cobble here, possibly, if they won one more round after that. But Vex here is going to be gifted mid control, so that's good. But they know if they're gifted mid control, they could be a 2-2 split or a 3-1, or potentially they're just waiting around the corner.
Yeah, it's one of those three, really. Just 2-2, 2-1-1, or 3-1. There's no way that the CTs would go for a 4-stack in this situation, and even the transition to so would be quite dangerous. But Vex, at least they don't just rush into a bomb site with their mid control, as they do split off. 2 players going into the CT area, and Caboose just loses the fight to Drossel. No trade necessary, and it's up to Haptic. Can he perform as well as Drossel did at this bomb site? He's going to need to, because there's so many members of Vex coming on in. And they do take him down. So 2 remaining for Foundation as the bomb finally goes down with 5 seconds left. So Vex beginning a spree, but the Foundation, they went with a little gamble at the beginning of the round. And they have the rounds to play with. So by going for that boost, you might just end the match right then and there, if he has a good couple of flank kills. But if not, well, you lose this round, and that loss bonus will begin to accumulate. But of course, it gets scarier and scarier as Vex, bolster that round count.
Oh, it certainly does. If they can have 4 people survive here, that'd be good for them. It wouldn't be in a bad situation at all. Foundation here, economically, they're going to get 1,900 on this round. I almost thought Handel was going to shoot Ruin there for a second when he came around the corner. I'm glad he didn't, though. So, yeah, money situation for the CTs is bad, so they're going to have to save here. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. You boost up. You see if you can get this thing done now. You get it to 15-7. You got to feel good. But if Vex gets back into this, I mean, even if they don't win this map, if they make it close, like, 12, 16, 14, 13, 16, something like that, it's going to put Foundation not necessarily on full tilt, but they're going to be a little bit frustrated about it considering what they had.
So this isn't a full force from the Foundation, but they do invest most of their money. At 2 rounds loss bonus, if they save in the next round upon losing, well, they're going to still be able to get guns out, but the problem is it's going to cut into their buy on one of the more important rounds. I think I was criticizing them on Dust 2 about this. Yeah, it was later on in the game. So maybe, just maybe, Vex can find a way to make use of that. Of course, that involves taking bomb sites, but they're having no problem doing so this round as Caboose, he's on top of Shroud, unable to get anybody. As Vex just take mid control, take out onto A. Suddenly, Porky's the last guy up. And I don't know what he's doing here. I guess just wants to keep that economy low of Vex, but he's going to have to kill a couple more players to really hurt that buy coming into Vex, where the next gun round will be.
Yeah, and, you know, I don't know. I mean, looking at the economy, I was kind of questioning, you know, there's a round for Vex, but I was kind of questioning, you know, I know they had 2 people surviving. I looked at the money, I'm like, you know, they're probably not going to buy here. I mean, there's really no reason to, but they do anyway. And now look at them. Now you can just buy P250s. You can't really, you know, maybe a little bit more, but besides that, I mean, you can't really buy that much. You're going to get $2,900 if you lose this round. That doesn't include kills or 300 or anything like that, but yeah, that's just, I don't know, to me that's not really what I'd expect, but they have done stuff like that in the past, and it has worked out, so it is what it is. 9-14 the scoreline here. Vex trying to get back into this. They've won 3 in a row. Can they continue this momentum? Invert gets a frag on a Porky. That's going to help things a lot. They are going against people with just pistols, so this isn't too insane as EJ's going to have to fall out of A main. The CTs are down a man and down in some HP. They did do a little bit of damage, but now the B site's open, and here comes Vex, as they should be able to win this round, so it should be 10-14. And that's going to put Foundation in a spot, money-wise, where they'll be able to buy. But that decision they made last round was kind of questionable.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as much on other maps than I would say it matters here on Cash. Because dropping down to 2K and 1-9 willingly before the gun round begins, you're cutting into that utility. And if it comes down to retake situations on Cash specifically, you need everything, specifically incendiaries. I mean, a retake into that A bomb site, if you have an incendiary, suddenly you don't have to worry about quad, and that takes away so much worry about the retake into that A bomb site. But the Foundation, they cut into their economy significantly into this next round, and at what cost? Because this round they invested a little bit. I still disagree with it, because I mean, you're not gonna hurt Vex's economy enough to the point where it's really gonna matter if the Foundation win this next gun round. But yeah, look at it, 48 and 49. Yeah, that's enough to buy, but is it enough to buy an incendiary? Probably not.
Yeah, and it's harder to stop those full-out rushes, you know, or you know, clear angles maybe on a retake if they do take that after the bomb is planted. So yeah, valid point there. And
no kit.
Oh, yeah, and also that. So that's also a disaster. Well, maybe not a disaster. We'll have to wait and see what happens here as this round's going to play out here. Foundation does have 3 other players at mid, so they're doing a 1-3-1 setup here. We see a lot of teams doing this, Laser. They're going to be running that, except they don't have one at vent. Potentially, they're going to be able to, like, drop down quickly, although it could happen still relatively quickly. But Caboose here alone on this A site. Do shift gears a little bit, because if he goes down on this A site, Mal's going to have quite a bit of a tall task ahead of him to be able to stop anything from occurring on that A site, depending on his position. We'll have to see what happens here, as they're taking it very slow here, and they haven't really baited a ton of nades either.
See Vex. They're hoping for a peek from the Foundation inside of the bomb site. They're not going to get it. Mal will put one away, and then Caboose from the side. This might be where Vex to see that tie point. They're hoping that somebody from the Foundation would peek from the bomb site, but they just didn't. Everybody's just holding near truck, highway, in the bomb site. Vex just can't get out and trade because too many different angles from the CTs to be. And not a good round out from Vex. They're riding that momentum. And I was thinking, hey, I mean, I still might not be a liar if they can get up to that 14 point and get that 8 rounds, but it doesn't look like it now. The Foundation will take that one, and with 3 or 4 players alive as well. But of course, Vex got that big bank built up, and 5 to make it a tie.
Yeah, I mean, they could do it, but it's going to be a tall task. I mean, they only have handled on 9 frags. You know, that's not horrible, but you'd expect more from somebody, especially on Dust 2, that had such a huge game. Hasn't really performed that well, at least on the frag board. At this point, handled, though, again, as I do say something a little bit negative about him, he comes back and shuts me up with a nice frag there, killing a player at Z. Now they're going to go ahead and throw some smokes on this B site. Mal coming back with a frag of his own. With that op, gets traded out by DJ. Drossel at mid. And that's actually a good round by Vex. They've got Haptic in a 1v3. He's going to throw fire, drop down. But he make this work. He's going to get one. Can he do it? This would be insane. And he's not going to be able to do it. DJ rips his head off. But yeah, that was some interesting turn of events there at B and at mid. But ends up going Vex's way. And look at the money for Foundation. I mean, they do have some. They only got 1,400, though, and you have to make the decision. What are you going to do?
This is why it was so important that they survived and with 4 that the round that they just recently won. Because now they should only have to save 1 time. That will leave Porky without enough. I mean, might go like FAMAS armor or something like that. But this is what I wanted Vex to do on their ecos on the CT side. Like, Foundation just went for a 4-man nade stack on the boost. That's what you need to do. And now it didn't work, so they shift off into, you know, a little bit of a B-side stack. Not so much of a fan of what they're doing at mid. Actually, I take that back because they can quickly turn these 3 players middle into a nice little sandwich onto mid. So I like this eco a lot from the Foundation. Because again, if Vex show their hand towards B, there's 3 players there that can quickly engage from the Foundation. If Vex show themselves at mid, well, then there's 3 players there from the Foundation that engage as well. So well thought out. But again, this next round will not be the best equipped from the Foundation, but since they survived before, should be able to get a good buyout anyways.
Yeah, that's true. And excuse me. And yeah, it is going to be a situation where they would be able to do that, so that's nice. They'd like to do a little bit of damage, maybe get a frag or 2 here, but they're going to be hard-pressed to do it, you know, with USPs. B250's not necessarily so much. I mean, you could do something here, but oh, look at this. I changed my mind. As Porky makes me think about what I just said and rips off Andrew's head.
If I'm Vex, they need to hunt this op down right now. They have enough money to buy in the next round. They need to hunt this weapon. I'd trade off all the weapons of Vex right now for that one op of the Foundation.
Yeah, they're losing a couple players here trying to make this work. Mal gets one. And they need to find it. Oh, and look at this knife running around, going down. And now it's Porky in a 1v3 with this op. Invert is going to go ahead and flash. He's going to peek with it. No, he's not. He's going to come out. And he gets it done. So 12-15 the scoreline. Vex making this close regardless if they take this to overtime. This shows resilience of the squad. And their confidence level going into the next map, even if they do lose, is going to be a lot higher than if they got spanked, as they could have potentially gotten earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's very easy when the scoreline is close to say, well, if we didn't lose both pistols, we would have won. And you can't argue with it. It's sound logic. I mean, if Vex won both pistols, they would have already won at this point. But wow, the Foundation, they're going to save up one more time and invest a lot. They still will get damn near a full buy in the next round. But it's just confusing what the exact purpose of this buy is, because sure, you've bought enough to give yourself a decent chance to win, but if you're cutting into the next round's buy at all, maybe I'm just too much from the old school, but I do disagree with it. So let's get a look at that money here. Yeah, 51. It's like the all or nothing thing you were talking about. You need to maximize your chance of winning this round. This is the big round, not buying up pistols cutting into your buy. Maybe I'm being a bit too nitpicky. It could be old school, new school.
No, Laser, you're saying all the right things. I mean, and I'm glad you brought up the point about all or nothing, because they're kind of in the middle here. They're like, well, you know, let's do this.
No incendiaries. And if you take away the weapons they bought in the last round, everybody has incendiaries.
Oh
Invert
boy, with a huge peek. Oh my goodness, Invert, you are the man. Nice peek and gets that frag. That's going to put the CTs probably a little bit upset about that. And they are in a situation that they need to win this. They want to take this to map 3 now. They don't want to have to do it in overtime. Invert, though, and DJ doing some work at mid. Going to make this a lot harder for Porky and Caboose to try to do anything. Because they actually might be potentially blowing this lead and going into overtime if Vex wins this, as they should, with Caboose being alone in a 1v5. No money issues for the T's now. And, yeah, I mean, you know, if your Foundation, you win 5 in a row, you drop 4, you win 1, you get reset again. You kind of mess around with buying and saving, and maybe not doing it the most intelligent way, at least in my opinion and yours. And now Vex is in a situation to potentially take this to overtime, and this is not what I foresaw for sure.
I mean, it is what I foresaw, at least Vex getting 8. But then once like the beginning of this half came through, then I was worried. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be completely wrong. Have to eat my words. But now Vex, yeah, they've brung it all the way back. And I guess the number one mistake I've seen from the Foundation here on Cash has been the buy situations. Like the rounds that they're losing haven't necessarily been due to bad decisions, but the buys definitely, because probably wouldn't have mattered, because of course Invert just hits a one tap onto an op peeking Z. An Incendiary isn't going to change that, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was against an op. Like, I had to go back and check to make sure there was an op down there, because you got to be ballsy to take that fight. And if you're an opper holding it, it can kind of be difficult because you don't know if you want to take the peek where you're directly looking just to the edge of the wall, or if you want to lead it a little bit to say if an opper swings wide or if an AK swings wide. But the way Invert peeked it was that little like kind of pixel peek where you just go for the pre-fire right away, and it can be difficult to hit with the op. But if that pre-fire hits you, well, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, very, very good analysis. Yeah, they've won 8 of the last 9 rounds, Laser, and yeah, I mean, we both were on the same page on this. You know, I definitely agree about this, and now they're gonna have to do some armor pistols again. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean, if you, I don't know. I mean, you know, you count up from the round loss bonus. You know, 1,400. You know, to 3,400. You do the math, and it goes up 500 every time. So you hit the max. And, you know, if you're the T's, you know, it's a little bit easier to get the economy going. You can get a little bit of influx of cash with the bomb plants and stuff. And even after, in the bomb planter, you'll get 300 and stuff. So there's some ways on the T side to get some money from the situation. But as a CT, it's not good. And, you know, it's not, at least not as easy. And so we do have.
Yeah, this is something that's just been so just resolved and figured out in both 1.6 and then Source, where depending on your money, there was a correct way to go about it. If you had, you know, if everybody had around 2K and you're on an eco, you didn't buy a damn thing. You just had Glocks and USPs. Now, with CSGO, we're in a situation where the pistols are so powerful that they change that dynamic entirely. So it's hard to say when things are right and wrong in that department, because say Foundation on some of those rounds where they upgraded pistols, we've seen numerous times in CSGO, more so than 1.6 in Source, where I can't say that with 100% because the Source Deagle was nuts, but still in CSGO, like, these pistols have changed the round dramatically so many times. So investing $500 into a 5.7, yeah, that's going to take your Incendiary away in the next round, which may, you know, change that next round. But at the same time, who knows? You might catch 5 people or like 3 people just spraying away with the 5.7. So it's added like a new layer of analysis to the game for me, because it's hard to say what is exactly right and wrong, and who knows? There might not be a concrete answer.
Yeah, I don't think there really is. I mean, you know, there's a lot of mentalities in this game and a lot of different ones for sure. But I would say I agree with you for sure. You look at the
hell of
picture.
A pause here too.
Yes, we've been 3 minutes for sure already. I just said for sure with 3 times within 3 minutes. Actually, within about 15 seconds, make that 4. But I will say this: Foundation has got to be kicking themselves. You know, in that situation, you've won 5 in a row. You win both pistols. You're in paradise. All you have to do is just do what you've been doing the entire time. And Vex tries the A stuff, like you said, and now they're in a situation to take this to overtime. And I think if they take this to overtime, I think they win it because they have the confidence going into it.
I think there'd be a strong statistic if we somehow got there. I have heard of some sick stuff in the works, though, on the hush hush. That'll change the game in that department. But yeah, if whatever team makes that huge long comeback generally has the edge moving into overtime. But hey, it's not done yet. Foundation could do this, but Vex have looked good in these rounds where the Foundation have the not full buy, and even against some rifles and 5.7s, they've looked pretty strong, and the Foundation have gotten creative on the rounds where they've had primarily pistols. I was expecting something similar to that, where they wouldn't play standard and let Vex make the first move. But that may be a better option here, because Vex, they're prepared for the aggression. Yeah, you might have the 2v1 inside of Squeaky, but Ruin's there with the Yop. On the other side, handled. He's watching the B side aggression. So if the aggression was anywhere but mid, Vex probably have the advantage. So at least the Foundation have waved off that danger for the time being. But now how do they hang on to mid with the lack of weaponry?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do that, and, you know, they do have 2 people at mid. They are going to get the first frag down onto them. Haptic's going to go down, and that's going to really help out the T's here to feel a little bit of more confidence here. And while they did get a 5-7 player, the FAMAS and the M45 are still viable weapons. A 5-7 is as well. I'm not saying it's not, but with 1 player in quad, that's Deemster with this FAMAS. 25 rounds of glory. Fire coming in. Can he do something? He's actually trying to shoot up highway here, but he's actually not going to do it. So it's a 5v3 situation here. Now getting a frag coming in here. Sporky's going to go down. It's down to Maul and Caboose in a 2v4 to prevent this overtime. This would be insane if they could do it. But with 14 HP, at least you have an AK, that's going to be really hard for you to be able to make this work. But they're going to try to work their way in here. Caboose coming in with Mal. He's going to go down. It's all down to him. I just don't see this happening with a FAMAS. He's going to get shot from one angle. He's got so many people to clear. He goes down. 15-15 the scoreline. We're going to overtime. They won 9 of the last 10 rounds, and they make it work. I'm absolutely awestruck.
Yeah, I said they wouldn't be kept below 8, and they make it 9, and now we got overtime. This is just nuts that the Foundation, give away that big of a lead. And since the lead was so big and there was such a large gap, it just increases the confidence of Vex moving in now. Like, we just won that many rounds in a row. Even if we win 2, we could probably close it out on the CT side. The Foundation are thinking, well, what do we do on the full gun rounds? Because Vex now seem to have the advantage there. I mean, what are the real options? I'm not too sure aggression is the right one. Maybe some mid-round aggression or something like that, because whenever the Foundation have gone for it at the beginning, with the exception of Squeaky, Vex has been ready for, say, the boost and any sort of B-side aggression. So, not too sure what the Foundation's going to do, but for Vex, now that pressure is relieved. You're now not on the verge of losing this map at any point, and we get that much-needed reset for Vex.
Vex here, I say that they win it. I don't know if it's going to be within 1915 or whatever, or 1916, but I say that they win it because if you look at the way that they played at the end, they just had a lot more confidence. Foundation just seemed to be making a lot of mistakes. They weren't hitting their shots there, and their buying was definitely questionable. So starting with 10 grand here, first team to win 4 rounds. If it goes 18-18, we are going to another overtime. This is Vex Gaming against Foundation. Foundation was up big, and they blew it. And now Vex has a chance to take this best of 3 right now to prevent going to Cobblestone. But if Foundation somehow can win this overtime, we will be going to Cobble here. I'm Awesome Sauce with Laser Jesus. For those of you just joining us here, really glad to have you here. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at AwesomeSauceGTV, at Laser Jesus. But we're getting right into this here with Vex coming towards this A site. Again, like you said, it worked for him earlier, and that's what got them back into this. But Deemster rips the body of Ruin down, and he's got to be upset, and that's actually going to put them at a disadvantage early.
And there's a player there for the trade handled. He didn't take the shot as D was falling back. Instead, he was posting on the repeat from D, but D fell back, and now Vex, there's no trade for them, but they will just commit onto the A bomb site. The repeat, D. Oh man, he's probably regretting that one. And now Vex taking into the bomb site, but there's still 2 people in the site for Root. The Foundation have already retaken with a couple of their players, and I don't even think Vex is going to get into the bomb site. No bomb plan. I was really worried for the Foundation, because if Vex took this one, the Foundation had 2 offs, and I mean, you could potentially see a 3-0 if Vex would have taken the next one. But Draw Souls here, a man definitely capable of this, but the up-down vertical crossfire, too much. As the Foundation, they'll take a very important run. And now all of that momentum that Vex was carrying, it's kind of gone, because Foundation's like, okay, we finally got a round.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for them, and now they just need to continue this up. They do have the 2 ops. They don't want to drop those ops, but going to have Vex in a situation. Well, they do have a little bit of money on some of these players, not a ton, but Foundation winning that round definitely puts them in a better position than they were before, as they're able to actually do something. And it seemed like they, getting that pick initially early is what got them to that level. We'll see what they're able to do here, as nobody dying yet. Some damage given to Vex here on the T side. That's Invert. Just playing very passive here towards the B site is Vex. Invert just trying to get an opening here at mid and potentially work this, but they do have a couple players here in mid to pose a threat.
It's also impressive by D that last round he was able to get the kill and get out of there, because 2 Vex members were there ready for it. And I was wondering, is aggression the right idea for the Foundation? Because it seems like whenever they've let Vex set up recently, it's been Vex winning the round. But the way Vex is playing the beginning, very default-like and ready for the pushes, I didn't think it would work out if Foundation aggressed. But D makes it happen. And this round, Foundation have given Vex the luxury of setting up unhindered. And what? Invert creeps up mid. Nobody ready for him. He's able to get a second. D tries to trade off, but it's a bomb site play already from Vex. And Haptic has made his way inside the bomb site, but he's got a long time before his teammate's able to help him.
Does get that Incendiary out, which is definitely going to help a little bit, but this is Vex winning this round unless Mal does a 1v4. I mean, he's got to save this op. I mean, it's important. It's not as important as it was in the last round, I would say, but it's still important nonetheless. And so if he can save this, that would be good. So we're looking at a 16-16 score line. The first team to win 4 in the overtime total, which means they have to win all of them on one side and then one on the other, or 2-2 or whatever, however you want to deviate it up. But yeah, Vex getting back into this is gonna. Maybe they're like, okay, we lost one, but we got this back, we adjusted, and now we can try to make this work.
This next round's really big for both teams, because Foundation, they're moving on to the T side where they've proven themselves capable of winning rounds. And for Vex, not as much on the CT side as Foundation on the T, so I think this is more important for Vex to take if we're not going to see another overtime come through. So, will Foundation allow Vex to set up as they please, or will we see that aggression? Because Foundation got the entry kill in the first overtime round, and the second time they allowed Vex to set up, and Vex win the round. So that seems to be the ticket, but it's not like it's clear cut. Like if Foundation go for the aggression, it's not like they win the round because Vex are ready for it. So kind of difficult for Foundation to pick the best option, whatever it is, on this CT side, because it's another round where Vex, they're going to be able to set up as they please.
And that's what they want. They want the freedom to set up. They want the freedom to feel like they have the map control. But the CT's playing interesting here, and I want to point this out. They've got one in vent that was boosted up from B. They've got one in B site and 2 near spool. They've got 1 on A. So A clearly the weakest option at this point. Invert trying to clear this stuff out, clear sandbags with that good Molotov that he set. But is he going to be able to creep out? I don't think he is. He's going to go down to Caboose. They double peeked him, even though there was a flash out. They wasn't able to do the exact same thing he did last time. They were aware of it. And so this actually puts Vex on a little bit of a bad spot here, is really anybody's map here at this point. And Drossel comes back and gets traded, though. Looks like he was in vents, and this is looking like Foundation's going to be taking 2 out of 1 or 2 out of 3 here on this first half of overtime, depending if Ruin and Handles can make something work. Handles not going to get anything done. That's down to Ruin of the P250 with an op as well. Oh, he does get 1, though, so he's going to be able to tap the bomb. He's going to peek, gets the shot onto Haptic. And Mal, is he going to peek into this? Oh, he's going to be on the cross with this op, and he's going to take him out. So Foundation gets this done, 17-16. And they need to win 2 in this next half to take the map. Vex in a situation where they have to win all of them to be able to win this OT.
And I think that's the least likely of the 3 potential scenarios. Either the Foundation win another overtime or Vex taking 3-0. I can't fathom the Foundation, based upon regulation, not taking a single round out of the 3 potentially. So maybe Vex can prove me wrong and we won't see Cobble. But, I'd kind of like to see it based upon how close it's been here now on cash. And then Dust 2, the Foundation definitely had a chance, but Vex picking up a lot of key rounds. Well, we're on cash now. And the Foundation, let's try to think back to what they did on their T side. They started off with some very aggressive, quick plays onto middle and B, and then they shifted off into a slower default style, and then even went back to the aggressive stuff in the end. So what will we see first? So far, it's looking like their quick B split, and for Vex, it's a 1-3-1. All alone is Drossel, but he was huge CT side.
He was. DJ's going to get one. Porky's going to trade him out, though. The refrag coming in. Invert getting another one. So that's good for Vex, as they potentially could stop this. Drossel's going to have to come up big here. He's going to throw that flash. Peek out wide. Doesn't get anything, though. That's not good. It's not over yet, though. This Foundation need to win this round to put them in a better spot here. Invert, though, is going to make things a little bit easier for him. And now he's going to see that glass is broken, see if anybody was boosted up here. Ruin comes in. No, he's not going to hit it. That's Invert and handled here on this retake. Can they do it? Invert's going to make it a little bit easier for him. Now they just have to get on the site and spot this player, though. Caught with the nade out. 7 HP is haptic. He is going to go down. A touchdown from Invert. 17-17. And this is what they needed right now. They need this, so they need to win the next two after this one to win this overtime, which I think is still unlikely, but Invert with the 4K is definitely convincing.
Invert went huge there. Yeah, I didn't really think of the dynamic much, because we saw Ruin with the op, and then Handled, he's primarily opt on all the teams, and Invert as well, all the teams that he's been on. So, I guess Invert seems the most capable with the rifle. Maybe him and Rune can contest for that, but interesting. A lot of people capable of utilizing that AWP. Foundation, they're gonna go quickly again, it seems, towards this B bomb site. This is what got them in trouble at the beginning of regulation, but so far it's working out 2 for 2 towards that B bomb site. And the bomb will go down there, but he's all alone. The rest of the T's need to join this bomber. And D, wisely not planning the bomb right away. He needs to wait for his squad, otherwise it would have been a defuse.
Yeah, and I think he made the right move there to not go for it, but this puts Vex in a great situation. It's going to possibly put them up 18-7. It's down to Maul in a 1v3. He does have full armor, which is going to prevent that one-hit headshot from that M4A1S, but he's got to go up against 2 ops, and doesn't look like he's freaking out now, and he's going to go down. Ruin's going to get him. And so now, 18-17. Vex on the cusp of taking this best of 3, or Foundation taking it to another overtime. Oh boy.
I wouldn't be surprised by either verdict. It was the least probable of the 3, in my opinion, that Vex would 3-0 this second half of first overtime. They could definitely still do it. The Foundation, it's not like the fast play did them in the previous round. Or was it? I guess I don't have time to discuss it too much, as it's D making the invert style play, just runs up mid, guns down 2 of Vex, and they'll quickly turn this into an A-side split. Bomb a bit cut off. DJ, if he can get one more, oh, can't line up the headshot, but quick on the flank is Drossel, but now he's struggling. Oh, his target jumped off. Still doable, though, as there's still a lot of utility for the remaining 2.
And Drossel, oh, look at this invert. They've got it in a 2v2. Full health from both these players. Now Drossel down a little bit, flash through the smoke. They need to make this work here. They don't want to go into another overtime. And that's pretty much all it's going to write here. It's over. We're going to another overtime. At least it's over for the game to be potentially over. They burn in the fire after, but we're going to double overtime here. And wow. I mean, it just seemed like Foundation getting aggressive 2 times in a row. It doesn't end up working out. They slow it down. They have D-Meister go up mid and do a lot of work. And so now we're in the second overtime, Laser, and this is... I have no idea what to think at this point, but both these teams really not wanting to give up.
So all 3 of these T-side rounds have been pretty quick-paced by the Foundation here, and the final one working out, will that make them keep doing it? If D doesn't get both of those kills at mid, I don't know if the aggression is the right play here from the Foundation, at least so quickly on the beginning. Because if we think back to the regulation, part of the game, Foundation got shut down early by making the quick plays, and then they were forced to adjust to go slow. But so far here in overtime, it's just been guns blazing right at the beginning of the round. Rush out, take control of whatever part you want. This time, not as much, but they do have Haptic out mid. Actually, it is a quick mid play. As up mid one more time, it's D. Catches Handled, trying to fall back to the bomb site. And the fast play stuff seems to be working. It's all D here in overtime.
Yeah, he definitely had a good round in the last round to keep them here. DJ, 2 quick frags, though, is going to make it even here on a 3v3, although he does have the HP disadvantage. Haptic gets a frag there at Z, at least killing the player at Z. And DJ and Invert here need to make this work. They need to get in here now, but they've got a tall task ahead of them if they're going to be able to find a door in. DJ using some utility to smoke off that highway player to try to force his way into the site. But if Invert opens this door, he is going to do it. Oh, he gets a frag anyway. So he's going to open things up a little bit. Goes to quad. Not going to happen. DJ now in a situation where he knows he has to run.
Might as well. I mean, by saving this weapon, it can mean an op from one of the teammates of Vex who seem pretty reliant. I mean, whenever they've had money for an op has came out. 3 people definitely capable of it, it seems. So that'll mean an op 4 handled this round from DJ. And if the CTs lose this one, I mean, 3 for the Foundation, they have to win one of their CT side rounds. You'd have to think so, at least. How low do the CTs go? Yeah, that's not a lot of money at all. Must-win situation here for Vex if they don't want to see Cobble visit that castle. And Foundation thinking about going quickly up mid again. You know what? They might just do the same exact strat as before. As it's D out mid one more time. Who can stop this guy? It looks like it'll be Drossel, but can he avoid the trade? Yes, he does. The rest of the Foundation gonna go quickly into the A bomb site. And Ruin, I don't think he could see the player enter on in. Yeah, he missed it.
Yeah, he's not going to know that, but he might have an idea. And now he knows. Now he knows. So now he can tell DJ, hey, look, he might be trying to flash and cross here soon. Here comes the smoke and the counter. Flash coming in from DJ. They're trying to bait some stuff in. They are going to get in, though. Fire coming out with the bomb going down. 4v3 retake here on Cash on A side. Oh, no, DJ burns in the fire because he can't get back up on Toxic. On top of those barrels, he couldn't do it. Oh, Invert getting his head ripped off as well. This 4v3 situation quickly turning sour. Unless Drossel can go huge here. He's already got 3. He's going to have to ace out here to secure this round for his team. Drossel's been a beast so far. He comes in, goes down. So 20-18 here. Porky a little bit of head nod there as they are playing well right now.
Definitely. Only one gun out for Vex unless he wants to divvy that money up and drop FAMAS as well as an M4. Or just go for the op. No, neither. They'll just go full utility. The rest of the team, 5-7, 2 Deegs, a FAMAS, and an M4. So not the greatest situation here from Vex, and they haven't impressed me all that much with these sort of buys. I'd like for them to get a little creative here, maybe find Foundation out in a spot where they're not so well guarded, and potentially an A push could have worked out. I mean, nobody's really watching the push from the Foundation side as they begin to work onto this B bomb site, and a B bomb site lacking Drossel. Yeah, Invert made that one huge round happen with the op, but I think Drossel would be the best in this position.
Yeah, and Invert's going to have a tall task ahead of him here in about 3-4 seconds. Initial coming in here. Oh, that did hit him, though. Didn't kill him, but it did hit him, and that's going to help Ruin kind of get some info here. It's going to go ahead and peek in here and fire this 5-7 off quite a bit here. Invert does get one, though. That's going to be a really helpful thing there. Ruin getting one as well. Invert hiding in that smoke, it does seem, as he is not quite out of it yet.
Body block!
They're body blocked. Yeah, they don't actually realize it, actually. Haptic running around. Maul's going to end up finishing off Invert here, but this 4v3 situation here, really anybody's situation here, but Haptic's going to make this thing switch out, handled. It's a frag, so 2v3 situation here. Vex need to get this round, because if they don't, they're going to be in bad situation here. Deemster, a nice frag. It's Drossel, and a 1v2 gets the first one. And he does get one. Drossel comes in huge, and at time of need for his team, when they need him the most, he gets his 39th kill, and in this double overtime, makes it to where it's 19-20, and saves them from only being able to lose one. Now they can potentially lose one and still tie.
Yeah, that 1 round buffer, it does so much for the psyche. When you know you're playing against match point, it can tighten up your play and or make you more desperate. Both of which will be negated by that 1 round buffer. Much easier to play from that position. So now Vex on their T side got to win 2 to stay alive, and the Foundation 2 to take it. Vex.
Yep, and and Laser, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but like I said, they could tie it. But that being said, they could win it. With that round, it makes them in a situation where they win out here, and they're going to be able to take this thing. Not really sure if they're going to be able to do it, but with the way that they played CT on in this entire game, I thought it was okay. I don't know. At this point, it's really anybody's game, and it seems like nothing really defined is working for either team. It's just random rounds that are being won, and some big players stepping up here. Drossel and Deemster seem to be both playing very well for the respective squads. But if you look at the kill distribution here on Foundation, a lot more even than if you look at Vex. Handled only 17 frags in double overtime in the second half of it, too. So that's definitely not the kind of game he wanted. But right now, Invert finding a frag onto Caboose and getting a refrag is Pookie. Or Porky. I said Pookie. That's bad. So Porky gets the frag. Oh, and look at this. Smile gets one, too. So nice job there. That's going to have Foundation in a good spot.
I got 2 friends with the nickname Pookie. Interesting enough. But Vex, they're going to try to go out mid here. Porky, he has a teammate inside events. They might collapse on the mid at any time, but DJ needs this fight, needs to win this duel at white box. The flash comes over. Porky will lose the fight, but then there's the second part. Haptic comes out from the vents. Vex try to fall back to trade off, but Haptic has already fallen back. And then D-Meister from the bomb site of A is able to get one onto Drossel, but he's got to stay alive just for a bit longer before the rest of his team could get there. Otherwise, DJ may have a chance here, but the rest of the CTs, they're not certain that DJ is working up to the bomb site. Now they will know, and the retake is on. DJ's trying to win this. He will, but can he get the bomb down safely? There's not a chance. Maul, he's too close. DJ, tough predicament. How does he get out of here? How does he get the plant? Yeah, he's not going to do either. Foundation, 2 chances. Game point. Map point. No, it would be game. That's correct, right? Game, set, match. Yeah.
Well, yeah, technically.
If we're going tennis, I don't know why I defaulted to tennis.
Well, it's all right. Hey, we all probably have our favorite sports, but esports is definitely on the rise. And I think, have we made it? I don't know if we've made it, but I think Foundation wants to make it right now. I mean, they want to get this done now. They don't want to take it to 3 overtimes. They just want to get this thing done. So we'll see if Foundation's able to start it. But handled with that op, saying, nope, I really don't want this to be done yet. So he's going to get a frag there and be able to chill out. And right now, Vex having to win out here to prevent Foundation from winning this map and forcing Cobblestone. Porky, a nice spray there on Spools through smoke. Haptic 1, 2. Oh, wow. Ruin
so big.
Alone. It looks like I would assume this is over here unless Ruin does something insane. What's going to happen? Ruin in tree. Can he find a way to keep this thing going? He does have a couple flashes and a smoke. He doesn't have a lot of information, and that's the downside. He just kind of breezed through the B side. He didn't thoroughly check it. Porky's going to be there. He's going to take him out. 22-19. We are going to Cobble. Foundation really just being very strong there towards the end. And unfortunately for Vex, they've got to be heartbroken after you come back like that, winning 9 of 10 at the end of regulation to force it. And then you can't close it out.
Yeah, it's kind of both teams thinking that, like Foundation thinking, well, we didn't have to go to overtime if we didn't blow that lead. And then Vex thinking, well, we could have just ended it there if we had that epic comeback and then couldn't close it out in overtime. So on to Cobble. This one is a close one, but before we get there, everybody head over to csgo2times.com, csgo2x.com, if that enunciation is confusing. And if you want a couple 300 free coins to gamble with, you can throw a /RGN at the end of that. But again, csgo2x.com. It's a roulette skin gambling service. You put your skins in, you get a balance equivalent, and from there, you bet either red, black, or green. if you're a former roulette player, I guess I can't say former, current roulette player, never can quit. It's 11 times instead of 18 for normal roulette because there's 3 potential greens hit that you can hit. So let's do some gambling here. Oh, what's wrong? I think I might have to log in or something here to see the roulette. That's new. Give me a second, everybody. But if you haven't seen it yet, again, it's super easy to double up your skins. There's if you don't have anything that you can put in, it's very simple to do some of the offers. They also have partners that you can use to get some free coins to potentially gamble with and run it up. Get yourself a nice little skin out of it. But let's do it. So there's a couple different ways people use the website, different methodology of what you think the next number is going to be. If it's been red a majority of the time, mathematically probability dictate that it'll be black the next. Of course, the green adds the variance, which makes it less than a 50-50 chance, slightly. But I'm going to go, let's go 15K on black. And
oh, wow. I just went 10 on red. 10 coins.
Damn, a big spender. But, I mean, you can bet with me or against me here. But, you know, my hand's been hot recently.
We'll see
so,
who wins.
See how much I win or lose this time around. Come on, hit me with the black. It looks like it is not a good start to the keep going. Okay, never mind.
Oh, man.
Well,
Look
congrats
at you.
on your 10 coins. You know what? I'm tilted. You know, it's got to be black next. We're going 25K on black. I want my money back and then more.
Oh, boy.
So CSGO2x.com, 300 free coins, which I think equivalates to 30 cents or so, just by adding the /RGN at the end for the referral code. And let's do it here.
It's so easy. I mean, it's just so easy. And why would you not want to do it? The site's easy to navigate. You get on here, you log in. It's so simple.
Fun, nerve-wracking, depending on what your definition of fun is. Show me the black one time. Keep going. Okay, this is not a good look. You know, I'm gonna bankrupt us again. You know, that might be one of my talents. If you want to throw me into another company, they'll just go bankrupt. But let's go. I got to make it all back. I got to walk away a winner today. There's no way it's gonna be 5 reds in a row. 45K on black. We gotta do it. This can't be happening. I can't bust us again. CSGO2x.com. Hopefully you don't get as nerve-wracked as I do. But I need to win this one. I mean,
you're really struggling there, Laser. Get it together, man.
I mean, it's because I'm not chain smoking right now, man. Usually at the roulette table, you need to go full James Bond with it. All right, I'm a victor. Please stop. Okay, I'm a victor today. That's how you do it. CSGO2times.com for your roulette gambling needs. Of course, it's never a need, but super fun. We'll be right back. Map number 3.
I need you more than you know.